Hey guys. So I had realized when watching one of Jacob, who is the Wisdom of Odin's most recent videos, that I had never really talked about Freyja, I think, in detail enough where I just made a video about her. And this is something that I had been intending on doing for a while, but when Jacob had posted his video, it sort of reminded me of it. And I will put the link to his video on Odin down below, but I thought that I would speak to my personal experiences with Freyja, and obviously keep in mind, of course, that this all goes to my own personal gnosis, my own personal experiences with her, and how I work with her as a deity. So I think it'd be best to maybe go chronologically into how Freyja came into my life. And she honestly was a little less dramatic than other deities that have come into my life. For instance, Odin was through a dream, and when I used to work with the Morgan, she was through a dream. Frigg was honestly from another really great friend of mine who has worked with her, essentially spoke, Frigg spoke through her and essentially was saying, hey, I think you need me. But Freyja was more subtle. Just these interesting nudges. All of a sudden, I became very interested to know her and to understand her. And so I immediately sought out to learn everything I could about her stories and her as a goddess. And before I knew it, I had purchased a statue of her. And to me, statues, when I purchase statues of deity, it's kind of a larger commitment. And I just feel that when I am doing that, I'm really inviting that deity into my home and my life. And so normally I take that with very large consideration, and it takes me a while to really make a purchase. But with her, I was like, nope, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm getting a statue of her. I need her to be part of my practice. And she took on that role very quickly, especially since previously there was a good year there that there wasn't really much in the way of deity in my practice. I had previously worked with the Morgan and Danu, who are of the Celtic pantheon, and while Danu and I have a very long-standing relationship that's gone through my childhood, she sort of stepped back, and the Morgan just completely disappeared. And I felt alone in a time that was very hard for me, adjusting to being a new mother and adjusting to having going through that process of leaving my 20s and going into my 30s and becoming a homeowner, setting roots down here in Minnesota when I miss Washington dearly, as well as going through another surgery for endometriosis, and thinking about expanding to my family. And there was a lot that had gone on within a year's time, and to not have any guidance from any deity when I had become so accustomed to more of a polytheistic lifestyle spiritually was a really big transition for me. So once I started to feel Freyja and I started to learn more about her, it really was like it was catching fire, which I do associate Freyja with a very fiery energy, and she is very passionate as she is a goddess of love, but she also really invoked that warrior aspect within myself. Luna, really? My kitty has decided to be a pain, but you know, kitties are associated with Freyja, so she invoked that warrior aspect in me, that self-confidence. She was more of that okay, girl, you're going to get up, you're going to pick up your sword, and you're going to fight for yourself, and you're going to love yourself, and you're going to really change and transition. And I'm going to be here to guide you, to push you. And she taught me to, girl, really? Come on. Come on. Stop. Got a sassy girl over here. She really taught me to love myself, and not just myself on an emotional level, but to face my traumas, to go through shadow work, to love myself and my sexuality, which Freyja is really, really big on. She is a goddess of sex. So having that confidence to heal my wounds and my trauma involving my sexuality was also a very, very big part of her. And I apologize for Luna, but she demands attention because she's a princess. So Freyja has essentially been my, I don't generally use this term, but it's the best way to describe my relationship with her. She is essentially my matron deity and has been so since the spring of 2016. I actually invoked her to cast a pregnancy spell to conceive my second son. And when I became pregnant with him, after I had developed my connection with Freyja, my connection to the Norse gods just grew extremely strong, particularly through my pregnancy with my second son. And so much so that I named my son Arthur, but his name is spelled Arthor, so he has that Thor aspect, and it's a nod to my husband's and my heritage, but also my connection to the Norse gods as I had my second pregnancy and welcomed my second son into the world. And since then, my connection to the Norse gods has become stronger, as I have now invited Frigg into my practice. But my connection to Freyja, I think, is truly the strongest, because she reminds me to, I see her as one hand loving, but also the other hand just unbelievably fierce. And she is every aspect of a goddess that I needed in my life at the time that she came into my life. And now, obviously, I have Frigg as well, but I also work with Santa Muerte, and she has they all have different aspects, but for Freyja, she is my main focus. She is the deity that I commune with the most, she's the deity that I pray to the most, and she is the deity that empowers me the most in many ways, although my other deities do serve their specific purposes, and I honor them in different ways. Freyja is very much the one that I have the longest at this point and deepest connection to. And while I will never say that a deity will be lifelong to me, because I do think that they choose to come and go at their own, and I really have no say over that, is something that I've deeply learned. I am very grateful for the connection that I have with her and the power that she invokes in me. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video, just sort of talking about Freyja and what she has done for me. And if you ever want me to elaborate on any of this, or maybe do videos on the other deities that I work with, I'm more than happy to do so. But I wanted to start with Freyja, and yeah, I think that's all for this video. So as always, thank you for watching, and blessed be.